Hi and welcome to another Wild Ones podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Gillian.
And my name's Alicia. Today we have an incredible episode for you featuring the one and only Laura Try. If you aren't familiar with Laura's story, you should be. Laura has literally blown us away with her story, her inspiration, just her whole sort of like ethos for life. She was, I don't want to give too much away really, but what we can say is Laura worked within the beauty industry and had never done anything particularly challenging and of a physical nature until she decided that she wanted to try and run. And I'm going to say to the bridge and back.
To the bridge and back. And very soon after running and getting into running, things developed quite quickly and progressed, and she is now an Atlantic rower.
Oh, and Laura absolutely ticks all of the Wild Ones boxes in terms of bravery.
Definitely does, and we have been quite aware that our first few episodes have been quite testosterone heavy.
Yes.
It's great to get some powerful, strong, awesome women on the podcast as well. We're really, really pleased to have had Laura. She is a legend. Grab yourself a drink. Or download it if you're getting on the underground and you want to listen to us now. Do what you need to do, because this is a really, really great podcast and we love Laura.
Anyone that needs a bit of inspiration as well, get that notepad out, get your notes section out, because I swear you're going to want to do some of the things that Laura's done, because I do.
I want to go running with Alicia.
I don't want to run. I'm not a runner, but I'm quite keen to row the Atlantic now, so all jokes aside, watch this space potentially.
Enjoy the podcast. Laura Try, we love you.
This week we are here with Laura Try. Laura, thank you so much for coming in to meet us.
Thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. We're at the Devereux pub again. This is the place that you and Gillian, Gillian's come to see you talk here before, but just for those listening, just for those listening, the Devereux pub in London hosts Tales of Adventure, which is run by Chris Shirley, who we've also interviewed, and Laura has told her tale of adventure at the Devereux before, and she's here tonight for another Tales of Adventure. We were like, we need to speak to you and get you on the podcast.
But you're not talking tonight, you're just here as a distinguished guest.
Yeah, not getting nervous about speaking. I'm in the audience enjoying other people's stories.
Love it. What's your story? Yeah, now we got to nab you so you can tell us the story. I'm hoping this is the plan. Laura's going to tell the story that she told me at Tales of Adventure. I wasn't the only person here, was loads of people here, but I felt like you were talking to me.
Oh, stop it. Well, I suppose let's start out from 7 years ago. I was a Shopaholic beauty salon owner, and
Same. Oh, that was
went to work every day to my salon. It was, it was great. We were really busy, and I had staff, and super successful, and earned quite a bit of money.
Where was your salon?
That was in Stamford, in Lincolnshire.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a fancy town, and lots of wealthy clients, and things were great, like the till, the bank account. But I never really knew what to do with the money. So no one had ever told me what to do with it.
Go shopping.
Yeah, I spent it. I was the typical marketeer's dream where I'd see the latest fancy new iPad. Yeah. It's like, great, I'm going to go and buy it. Yeah. And then I'd go see the designer dress. I'm like, because it's got an expensive price tag, I'm going to go and buy it. So that was me. And then when I started to get to age 30, I just got a bit of a panic on, where I just felt as though my life, although I'd owned all this stuff, that I just felt as though my life wasn't actually being fulfilled. Like, I kept buying more and more to make me feel fulfilled, but it just wasn't ticking the boxes. And so I started thinking about what I truly wanted out of my life. And that's when I decided that I wanted to get outside more and do marathons and run through the countryside. And, when you're watching the adventure TV shows like Bear Grylls and SAS Who Dares Wins, and you look at it and you just want that to be you. Yeah. Like, you want to know what it feels like. I was thinking, well, I'd like to do stuff like that, but I've literally got no idea. So
Had you done any running or like anything like that previous to this thought?
Zero. Like, probably the most running I'd done was being late for my aerobics class. Like, I was that girl doing step aerobics.
Yeah.
And
So you were active, you were going to the gym and stuff?
yeah. And I was a dancer when I was younger, so I was always fit. But then I went from a dancer into joining a gym, and then just went to fitness classes.
Yeah, just classes. Yeah.
Just like
fun classes.
Yeah.
But also like
and
a bit of exercise. Yeah.
feeling like you're really fit because you've done 10 workouts.
Box jumps.
You've done 10 workouts that week. Like, I'm well fit. And so then I thought, well, I want to start running. Like, I'll be able to run. I can do 10 classes a week, so I can run. So then I bought a pair of trainers. And it was actually in the time of my life where I decided to stop buying stuff because I realised actually the stuff wasn't making me happy. If anything, I just kept wanting more and more and more, which had a counterproductive effect on my happiness. So I stopped buying stuff. I started selling my stuff to see if I could cope without it. But then
that can get addictive as well, though, because then you see money coming in. Like you're like, oh, I've made some money. I sold some things.
I didn't know when to stop, so I basically sold everything. Like literally, I'm all or nothing. So I went from buying everything to selling everything. Like when I look back, I'm like, what were you thinking? So then I bought a pair of trainers. Like, I'm going to become a runner. All or nothing. Laura the runner. Put them on, and then decided to go for a run around the block.
I remember when you talked about this.
I love this story, even though it's mine. How big-headed does that sound? Because I can't believe it's me as well. Like, I tell the story like it's someone else. So I want to go for a run around the block in this expensive pair of trainers that I've got, because in my mind, the expensive pair of trainers will make me like an amazing runner. And then I get to the end of the road where there's a bridge, and the bridge is 0.7 miles away from my house. And so I'm at the bridge in a state where I can't run anymore. Like, lungs burning, legs on fire, just esophagus basically feels like it's going to fall out. You know that feeling in your chest?
Burning.
I'm like, so I walked back home, and I was just so frustrated because I'm thinking,
you've got the kit, you've got the trainers.
I've got the kit. Like, I'm going to run around the block. This is going to be amazing, but I can't even run a mile. So I was just so frustrated. And then I was talking to my boyfriend when I got back, and I mean, looking back, it wasn't very nice, but at the time it seemed fine. He didn't really have a lot of confidence in me. He's like, why are you trying to run? Why are you trying to do this? Blah, 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 being a bit negative. And then I just thought, well, I'm gonna run to the bridge every day, and I'm gonna walk back. And it was amazing to see that journey of running to the bridge, and then I'd walk back, but each day I got a bit further home. And one day I was able to run all the way to the bridge and all the way back, and I didn't stop. It was non-stop. And so that was 1.4 miles, and that took maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And that was a point in my life where I realised if I practice something every day, without too much pressure, if I just took it for what it was and listened to my body, then I'll get there in the end.
Yeah.
And so then to the bridge and back, which is a term I use in my life all the time, just get to the bridge and walk back. And then I was running 5k, 10k. Then I got hooked into obstacle racing. So I
like Tough Mudder.
tons every weekend. And I just couldn't stop running. And then
like Forrest Gump.
Every weekend.
Forrest Gump.
Crazy. And then did half marathons, and then kind of reached that limit where I thought, okay, I can do a marathon. Like, that seems, because Man has said 26.2 miles is a marathon, and that's a long way to run. I'm like, cool, tick, happy, I'm a runner.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty happy. But then from there, I was 22 at that age. So I'm 37 now. I was 22. And from that point, it just, escalated for a series of events that is just so crazy when I look back at it on a timeline, that it's led for a series of events that not made me, a team of females invited me to row across the Atlantic Ocean, and I said yes, and last year I got back from rowing 3,000 miles across the Atlantic. And
I'm so jealous of that. I really want to do it. I've actually got the buzz now.
So you know what's
Claire Allinson. She was part of the Claire's a friend of mine.
She rowed the boat that we rowed, Liberty. Yeah. So I was there when. Was I there? Oh no, I wasn't there. But I watched them come in through Facebook Live.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I'm so emotional.
Amazing.
Literally, Claire has been probably similar to you on highs and lows with her mental health and her fitness and everything. And we used to do a CrossFit group together on a Saturday morning, and we were at the point where we were just at the same level of fitness on our fitness journey, and both a bit too I don't really want to join in with the rest because they're all really good and we're really shit. and that was only a couple of years ago, and now she's just literally broken a world record.
I know. Isn't it amazing?
I know. And they're just, to watch them in all those photos and all that footage, just literally are so full of life. It's glowing out of them.
Yeah,
that's how I felt when
that
I was
feeling.
here watching you.
Yeah,
and when you talked about all of the blisters and everything on your hands and all the pictures, it really made me think, oh my god, I'd love to do that. Which is a weird thing, right? See pictures of people with blisters on their hands and you think, I want to do it.
Yeah.
I want that.
What is that buzz like? I mean, it's really it must be difficult to put into words, but when you've actually set such an incredible goal and then you achieve it, is there any kind of it's over now?
Well, I'll answer that in a minute. I'm just
down.
desperate to say that it's. I don't think it's weird for you to look at that, or anyone to look at the blistered hands and the salt sores and the misery of rowing across the Atlantic, because for me, that's what humans were designed to do. We're built to survive.
Yeah.
And in this world where we're surrounded by concrete, with central heating, and our fridge is full of food, our cupboards are full of food, we've got everything we need.
There's no hunting and gathering.
And that part of us inside has died, but we're human. It's an instinct that we need to find and discover and find ways of thriving. And sadly, in this world, it just doesn't exist apart from earning more money, buying bigger and better things. And that's why I think the world is where it is. And so I don't think it's unusual to look at something like that and want it.
This is why I get fat over the winter. I'm just it's the cave woman instinct.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good one. Same.
So then the feeling of what it feels like to finish is, I can't put it into words. I'd love to try, but it just wouldn't do it justice. To go through the journey of trying to raise the money to row across the Atlantic is £120,000. And so that is harder than rowing across the Atlantic.
How did you raise that?
So I was invited onto a team, an existing team, and they'd already raised half that money.
Brilliant.
So that was great. But we still had £60,000 more to raise. And so it's just contacting companies, sponsors, networking, social media, crowdfunding.
Everything.
Throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
And then, I think we got our final sponsor a week before we left for the Salon.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, unbelievable.
Literally last minute.
Yeah. And actually, I've done an adventure before where I needed to raise £20,000. I was thinking about it yesterday. And I raised the last £2,000 16 hours before.
What adventure was that?
That was rowing around Britain.
My God. So you literally needed that money, otherwise you couldn't have gone in 16 hours before?
I think probably I still would have done some fundraising when I got back, but 16 hours before I raised the money. And actually, when we was on the expedition, I made the transfer via mobile banking. Oh my goodness, talk about leave it to the last minute.
So how did you go from running to rowing?
How did I go from running to rowing? So we'll go back to the bridge where I was and the marathons. I did the marathons. And then I saw a 24-hour adventure race on Facebook. And despite having run a marathon, which was 4 or 5 hours, 24-hour adventure race, I'm like, that's pretty next level. I'd never be able to do that. And I showed my boyfriend the same one, actually. I'm thinking about it. Maybe not overly encouraging. He's like, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that. I'm like, well,
You're not with the same boyfriend now?
No.
Right. Bye.
And then, I mean, obviously he was right. As if beauty salon Laura, still had a beauty salon at the time, as if she would be able to do a 24-hour adventure race with backpacks and reading a map and staying awake all night. There's no way I was going to be able to do that. But anyway, I was looking at it on Facebook, and when you're like love heart emoji, and like, I just want to do it so much. So I just thought, well, maybe one day in the very distant future. So I wrote a little comment. This looks really cool. And then just carried on with my day. And then later on that day, I got a message from a friend who'd seen the comment, and he knew the people that were organising the event, and he managed to get a spare ticket, and he asked if I wanted it. I know.
Just do it.
What? I'm doing it, okay. So I'm just, that moment where you read it and you're like, what do I do?
I had a similar moment because I signed up for a 103-mile walk non-stop across the Southern Downs. It's called Since 1664 Beyond, and you literally go for until you've got to the end of 103 miles. So you can only stop for about 20 minutes at a time, otherwise your muscles seize up. I pulled off after mile 62 because the blisters that I had were horrific.
Yeah.
And for me that was heartbreaking because I didn't finish it. So there's that awful feeling of you've disappointed your sponsors, you've disappointed yourself. There's so many things that come from that disappointment. And I've always said I will go back and I will do it, and I will. I absolutely will, because I don't like failing at anything. But at the same time, I was like, I've done 62 miles without stopping.
Yeah.
Like, women aren't meant to walk that far, but because our hips aren't made that way, and I've done it, and it's great. But the feelings involved in doing that and the build up to it, I felt a bit smug, because I literally started off by saying to my husband, I was upstairs and I shouted out, could I walk 103 miles non-stop? And he burst out into laughter and he was like, don't be so bloody stupid, or probably worse words to that effect. Because he said I couldn't, I was like, fuck you, I'm doing it. And that's why I signed up.
Yeah.
Simple. It really pushed me into doing it, and I've been the same ever since. If someone laughs and says you can't do it, well, I'm bloody well doing it.
Yeah, I'm not wired that way. If someone says you can't do it, it doesn't give me more drive. I don't know why. And so the boyfriend saying that I couldn't do it, he was definitely right, and I knew that. But anyway, their friend offered me the ticket, and I thought, well, do it and see how far you get. Worst case scenario, you do 5 or 6 hours. And then the catch was it was only 6 weeks away. So, oh God, 6 weeks. You can't train for a 24-hour adventure race on 6 weeks. So there I am, frantically buying all this kit that I'd never had before, like hiking trousers and
that you've got to break in.
A decent backpack, and this really random kit list of an axe and... I've never used an axe in my life.
In Mountain Warehouse, I need an axe.
Yeah, I'm going to cut my leg off. And then turned up at this event with mostly men, some females, mostly men, put in a team with all guys that had all done similar stuff before. And I was just standing there thinking, what on earth is going on? And then 25 and a half hours later, I finished it. Right, okay, well, I actually had a really cool time.
And that was Beauty Salon Laura.
That was still Beauty Salon Laura that did that. So, I mean, covered in mud, just broken trousers, it was really...
Axe in hand.
Did you take that axe home to the boyfriend and go, guess what, I did it?
Like an axe hanging out of the backpack, crazy. So then that was super addictive. I'm like, right, well, I did that. What else can I do? Did a 48-hour event. Finished that. That was bloody hard. I'm never doing anything like that again, because that was 56 hours of being awake. I mean, it was just agony. Why am I doing this to myself? I don't need to prove any more. I can't be awake for any longer, because that starts to affect my health.
Yeah. So
I thought, right, okay, done. Let's just go back to running. And then And then a few months later, a couple of my guy friends asked if I wanted to row across the Atlantic. That's where it all started. That's when...
And you didn't go with them, did you, in the end?
No,
I remember
I
I was
didn't.
trying to remember earlier your story, because that didn't happen in the end. Did
Yeah, well, Beauty Salon Laura didn't know where the Atlantic was. So I looked into it, like rowing across the Atlantic, Google. And I just thought, God, this looks amazing. Like, how can someone invite me to do this and then me not say yes?
Yeah.
Like, I have to do it. I feel as though I was in this place with my beauty salon where my weekend warrior, Laura, who hiking trousers, backpack, mud, wasn't matching up with beauty salon Laura in the week. Like, the two just didn't match. And the values were completely different, because in the week I was making people look beautiful, selling them skincare. It was all very superficial, but at the weekend I was just stripped of everything, and I felt great. And so I was going through this transition, and
I've got chills.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how I felt when I was there. I was like, if you can't remember, then you weren't there. Like, you would remember. Yeah.
Just the thought of you recognising those two completely opposing elements in your life and being able to recognise that you need to do something about it and being brave enough to do it. It's just so inspirational.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but I think sometimes it's irresponsible.
Yeah.
And impulsive.
But we've spoken about this on previous episodes and to each other. And we said it to Chris Shirley as well when we interviewed him. You've got one chance at this life, and actually if there's an element of it that you're really unhappy with that's making you miserable, just stop doing it and do something different.
Yeah. And you have to take risks as well in life. Like, you get a buzz out of it, but also if you don't take a risk, you don't know if you can do all these things that are in your head. You have to try. Laura, try.
Yeah. So I can see why you would think that it's irresponsible, but maybe I'm just an irresponsible person, but I'm 100% behind it.
I mean, the story sounds great. The reality was much tougher.
Yeah.
Like when I'm doing a bullet point kind of thing, because actually the intense difference of weekday Laura and weekend Laura made me completely fall out of love with my business. Like, this is well
really conflicting.
Like, so conflicting. Yeah. And then to put back the high heels and the fingernails and this facade that a beauty therapist has to this person that would just be running through the countryside surviving was so different. And that was the person that felt alive. And so I closed the beauty salon, but then this is where it stops getting quite as wonderful, because the next 2 or 3 years of my life was awful, because I then lost my purpose to get up every day and go to work and earn money and be good at something, because I'd gone from successful business owner, not just a beauty therapist, but I was a business owner, to like, well, what else am I going to do? Because I thought something would just turn up. I thought this life of adventure would just deliver something, because it was making me feel good. I thought it would give me something. And I suppose, I mean, I never really talk about this, but talking about these stories, I think it's really important for people who have this yearn to leave their job or their 9 to 5, like, just chill out a bit. Because it's not as wonderful as it sounds, because I do know a lot of people that have got themselves into financial and mental difficulty because they sold this dream of, we only get one life. But actually, if you've not got any money or any purpose, then it's not a life worth living. So probably Beauty Therapy Laura should have carried on being Beauty Therapy Laura and like phased something else in. Yeah. I never talk about
That's why you say irresponsible, maybe.
Yeah, and it is irresponsible because I put a lot of pressure on my friends and family as well, who were crazy worried about me. But thankfully, the offer of the Atlantic, it was weird because I didn't have any purpose. Oh God, I was cleaning and I had a van, so I was girl with a van. Like, I was basically doing anything.
That's Alicia, go with the van. We're sleeping in the van tonight, aren't we?
Yeah. Just earning just nothing. And I just thought, oh my God, how have I gone from a good life to this? But because I'd said yes to the Atlantic with these guy friends, it kind of, I felt as though that kept me going. So without that, I feel as though I wouldn't have had a purpose. But like you said, in amongst all of this, the team of guys that I joined to row across the Atlantic, the team fell apart because 2 of them had really good jobs, families, and lots of responsibility in life that they couldn't commit the time to the fundraising or the training. And
it's a big commitment.
Huge
commitment.
Like, it's basically a full-time job. You go to work, and if you want to row across the Atlantic, you spend your morning, your lunch break, and all evening until the second you go to bed working on raising the money, trying to get fit. And these guys said we can't do it. So the team fell apart, but I always knew in the back of my head I'd do it, and I kept working towards it in some way, to the point where I put a video on social media saying, I want to row across the Atlantic. I haven't got the money. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but here's my video. And then a few months later, I got an email from 3 girls to ask if I wanted to join them.
That's so good. What did they do? Just see it on Twitter or something?
They saw it on Twitter. Yeah. I mean, it had been on Facebook. I know it's not massive, but it got 10,000 views on Facebook. I was like, well happy with that. Put it on YouTube, put it on my website, and I put it on Twitter. You know what Twitter's like? It's been and gone within just so quick. And then it took 3 months for that team to message me and said, we think we saw something on Twitter. Like, of all the places, you know?
What did you put, like, hashtag row the Atlantic? And they must have done a search and thought,
no hashtag.
Nothing.
Like, I should really find out.
Somebody must have.
Hang on, how long did you spend with them and you didn't check how they'd actually seen you?
Ages! I know, we never even spoke about it.
To them, how did you find me?
We never even spoke about that. That's definitely on the conversation for next time. And so then I got this. I'd been out for a few ciders with a mate, got back. I actually got a video diary of it, which is so random because I did video diaries for about 5 days and then stopped. And this week I did a video diary, and I can pinpoint the exact moment where I get the email for them to invite me to row across the Atlantic.
Wow.
And that was in the March. And then in the December, we got on a boat to row across the Atlantic.
That's really a quick turnaround time as well for you to sort your life out, get the fundraising done, get fit enough.
Yeah. 9 months. Gel with a team of people that I didn't know. Yeah.
So where did you set off from, and where did you end up?
Started in La Gomera, which is in the Canary Islands. Ended up in Antigua in the Caribbean.
Nice. Did you have a bit of downtime afterwards?
2 weeks.
How long does it take then?
Took us 43 days. Yeah.
Okay. That's.
If you had to pick, this is really difficult because if somebody asked me like pick a high, or pick a low, is there anything that really sticks out in your mind that's like a ridiculous moment or a high or a low from that journey that you will carry with you?
Yeah, 2. First one, it feels cliche, but it also is just the moment was so incredible, it almost didn't feel real. And I'd like to go back just to experience it again, to know that it is real, was when I was asleep in the cabin. So we rowed for 2 hours and then we rest for 2 hours. So I was asleep, and we had a rule on the boat, don't wake anyone up, like, unless it's absolutely vital. But we all had this, we all said, if there's wildlife, wake us up. So I'm asleep in this deep sleep, and I can hear, Laura, really sorry to wake you, but there's whales swimming next to the boat. And I'm like, I'm up. But you know when you're caught in a sleep phase, you're caught in REM sleep, and you wake up and you're trying to piece everything together, and what's going on? I'm completely naked, and I get out on deck, boof, a whale that's 10 metres long, swimming right next to the boat with a smaller whale next to it. And we're just like, what on earth is happening? And it was the only time that we stopped rowing. because we just kept rowing and rowing because we wanted to get to Antigua quick. We wanted to be the first female team. So we would row non-stop for 43 days. But when we saw the whale, we just stopped. It's like, I can't believe this is happening, but I want to experience it again because I was in that REM sleep and I couldn't snap out of it. Like, my brain, I
disassociate with what's going on.
I had all these sleep hormones rushing through my body and I just couldn't take in what was happening.
You didn't have time to put on any clothes, so you literally just
I was just there, completely starkers.
Did anyone take any pictures of the whales? Or did they snap you standing by the whale?
Well, I think we agreed that it was such an amazing moment that no one was going to go and grab their GoPro.
Yeah.
Because by the time you fumble for the GoPro and you realise it's not got any battery, and we just wanted...
Sometimes you just need to be in the moment, don't
we
you?
just wanted to surrender to it and just be like, this is happening.
Do you know how far across that was between La Gomera and Antigua?
Maybe halfway. Yeah, I got straight back in the cabin and just wrote a blog called We Saw a Whale. really creative.
What was your other moment?
My other moment was when, it wasn't a specific moment, it was more maybe 3 or 4, when I'd come out on deck and I would row with my partner Kate, and I could see that she'd just be so up for it. It would be night time. It was a little bit warm. It wasn't overly warm. And I'd come out and I'd just see this little glint in her eye, and I'd say, "You up for a power hour?" She's like, "Well up for it, LT." We'd just bang on some tunes like drum and bass,
Nice.
Chase the Status, Prodigy, Press, and we would just absolutely go for it. Like, it was as though we only had 1 hour left in our life and we had to row as hard as we could. We just went for it, like blasting.
Those are banging tunes as well.
Absolutely, just flying with high winds, got a full moon, and we're just in crop tops and hot pants, and we're just smashing out the miles for an hour.
Doesn't it make you want to do it?
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Like,
I really do.
Amazing. And then you get off the oars and you're just knackered, but you're just so full of it, because mostly the rowing is so monotonous and so boring. So to get that injection and be in that environment and just have Chase and Status like bouncing off the clouds back into the boat, off the waves, vroom, and in the boat, you're just like, this is it. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this is 10 out of 10.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love that. So the beauty salon Laura up to rowing Laura, massive transition.
Huge.
What's next?
Well, I was meant to, I think I said it in my talk, and I said it in quite a few podcasts and things and talks, that I was putting together a team to row across the Pacific, because I wanted that experience again, but things just didn't really fit together like a puzzle, and it didn't fit together, and I just thought, this isn't for me right now. And so I stopped, and the rest of the team have carried on, so I mean, like, totally amazing. So I'm just working out some options of something else to do. Like, there's no way that I could not do anything else.
Yeah, you've
like,
got the buzz.
Yeah.
You're stuck. You're addicted.
It's when I'm downstairs waiting to come up here talking to Duncan, like a physical need inside of me that this is what I'm designed to do. To like go out, do stuff, and come back and tell the stories. Which sounds really egotistical, but I mean, it's...
But it's not, because like I said before, it is really inspirational, because as much as you see it as risk-taking, or it doesn't feel right, or sometimes it doesn't pay off, hopefully people will listen to this, and there'll be people that have dreamed about doing something like this. And even if you only inspire one little girl out there, or a little boy, or whoever it may be, then your job here is done.
And
that's
genuinely,
it.
even if you just inspire someone to run to the bridge at the 0.7 miles away from their home and walk back again.
I think
Because
that's
when you
better.
were talking, like when I came here last year, I was like, oh my god, I need to.
I'm going to run to
start
the
this
bridge.
again. Yeah, I want to run to the
I'm
bridge.
not a runner. I'm not
No.
naturally a runner. I hate running. There's nothing about it I like. I like weightlifting and I like walking. but
we talked
I'm
about this
gonna
today. I
run
was
to
like,
the bridge.
let's go for a run. Let's start going for a run. I'll meet you in the
0.7
local
miles.
National Trust place that's literally between. We live about 10 minutes away and right away from each other. And
Slap
right
bang in the
between
middle.
our houses is a really nice National Trust place where you can just park up and run. And lots of people do. And I was like, we can just meet there, go for a run, or just a walk.
My
it might
response
turn
was
into a
no.
run.
Yeah.
I said no.
Yeah.
I'm saying yes.
Take the dog or not. And we'll see. Just
My
do it.
dad started running age 67. He can do 5. Yeah, I think he could run for about 30 seconds, and now he can run 5k.
Oh.
So like his bridge was 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Now he can run non-stop for 35 minutes.
And lots of people start by doing like the Couch to 5k app. Like, I know so many people who have never run before and they've just done that and got there and
I have a
suddenly.
confession to make. I downloaded that app, and the first day that I tried running, I sprained my ankle. I was like, I'm done.
It's a sign.
That was about 3 years ago. I don't think I've run since.
Amazing.
I actually went back to that frustration of not being able to run because having spent 3 years rowing across oceans, it wasn't conducive to run because it's completely different muscles. So I stopped running. So when I got back from the Atlantic, I started running again. And I live in a different place now. And I ran.
You find a new bridge.
There was a bridge and I could run to the second bridge and it was 1.2 miles. And I was done. And it was so frustrating because I'm like, I've done 45 miles non-stop before. How can you not run 1.2? I'm like, just remember, get to the bridge and back. So I just did the process again.
Yeah.
And I'm like back up to 10 miles.
Is there any part of the world, this is a bit random, is there any part of the world that you would really like to see and also combine physical sort of like adventure?
Yeah.
It sticks out, go on.
Great Britain.
Oh.
Yeah.
We do have a great country, we really do.
Yeah, I think that everyone gets carried away. We go into tropical places and I mean, especially getting on aeroplanes and polluting the air just for our own ego and our own happiness, then I think what we've got here, what we've got to offer, there's so much beauty
Yeah, there really
and
is.
so much to do and so much to see and so much variety that why wouldn't someone
You're so right.
just
We
walk
both
out
live
their
in
door?
Devon, and obviously we're very close to Cornwall because we're in Plymouth. And there's so many parts of Devon and Cornwall that I've not even seen.
Yeah.
So many parts. And that's just of those two counties.
I had to use the South West Coast path to train for Three Peaks, and that I was like, I don't even want to go and do Three Peaks now. This is amazing, and I literally was like blown away by some of the footpaths are really, really untrodden, and you'll just come down to a beach in some random place in Devon, and you're like in Narnia. It's without the snow. It's incredible, like so pretty.
Yeah.
And I'm really lucky that I've had jobs where I've been able to travel, and in the UK, and like you said, it is just so beautiful. You don't need to increase your carbon footprint by getting on an aeroplane
No.
until you've really discovered our lovely country. Julia Bradbury would be really impressed, wouldn't she?
Oh, is that program with the 50 best
Yeah.
travels or something? I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. And it's that typical thing of if you imagine being somewhere different and acting different, then that's probably quite naive of that person, because wherever you are in the world, you're still going to be that person.
Yeah.
You're still, if you think, oh, I'm going to go to the Caribbean and I'm going to start running, well, why don't you just start running?
Yeah, you're still going to be Laura.
Yeah, you're still
Yeah.
where. Just do what you want to do where you are.
It's just an excuse for a holiday, isn't it? Probably.
Exactly.
For people, so.
Okay, so which part of the UK would be on your top of the hit list? Which parts, if you've heard about areas that you really like?
I don't know.
Where do you
went
live?
to,
Where do you live at the moment?
I live in London.
Okay.
I was in Northumberland working in the summer, and it is not one of those places I'd look on. It's literally like if you look at where Edinburgh is, and then you go down the map by about an hour and go right a bit on the coastline. It's a beautiful town called Alnwick. I would never ever in a million years have thought, oh, I'll go and visit Alnwick. They filmed Harry Potter in the castle there, so you can kind of get the idea of what the scenery's like. But I would never have gone to Northumberland because it's just not in an area that I would have thought to visit.
Yeah.
Outstanding, absolutely beautiful.
And Scotland as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lots of beautiful places, but interesting that you live in London. I lived in London for all of my 20s, and even now I think, God, even London. There's so many parts of London that I just have never even been to.
Yeah.
I've never even experienced, and it's like there's so much to see and do here. So many places to go, so many pubs.
When you live in a place that's a tourist area, you don't do the tourist stuff.
No.
But there's just so much to do.
Yeah.
I'm in that space at the minute where I'm just wanting to discover new stuff. So I just get on the internet. I'm like, right, I've always wanted to do that. I'm going to go here. I'm going to try this. Kayaking down the Thames at night, like, so up for that.
That's
So,
cool
yeah.
as well. Like that night walk thing that people do, but do the night kayak instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
Watch
to do
this
it.
space. I'm really excited for you because I think you're going to come up with some crazy ideas. And actually, I'm sure there's a TV program in it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll see
I
you
would
on
definitely
TV.
watch you doing all these bonkers things. I really would. Thank you so much for coming in and being our guest.
Yeah.
You've inspired me, definitely. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Told you she would.
And thanks for having me on.
No,
Really
we love
appreciate
it. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to plug quickly before the end? Anything exciting? Check her out on Instagram, basically.
Yeah, I wouldn't say plug. I'd probably say if anyone's got this niggle to try something, I'd say just get on with it and just have the courage or bravery to just either to run to the bridge or sign up to row across the Atlantic. So it's all basically the same.
And your on Instagram is Laura Try UK?
Laura Try UK.
Perfect.
Thank you
so much. So thank you so much to Laura. We told you she was going to be an amazing guest. Did you enjoy that interview?
We told you. Yes, I love Laura. I love speaking to Laura. I love hearing Laura speak. She makes me want to do things that I would not otherwise think that I would be capable of doing.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is with her and her story, is that it makes you think, I can do that, because we do speak to so many people who are amazing, and some people you think you've probably been amazing all your life. You probably came out of the womb running up a mountain.
Yeah, or even had the opportunities in front of them because they've been in the military, or they've grown up within a military circle, for example, or dads who are adventurers. But Laura literally wasn't.
No,
and now she is.
Yeah, she's a perfect example and role model to. And I'm going to say it to women, but not just to women, but I really do, because she is a woman. And so are we. I feel really inspired by her, and her story, because I just think she's amazing. I think she's brilliant. I'm fangirling.
I fangirl Laura. So thank you, Laura. Thank you to the Devereux Pub for allowing us to use your space to record the podcast. Thank you also to Red Rock for providing our amazing hoodies and our future apparel. It's coming. The shop will be online soon. Watch this space. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. We're going to have all sorts of things.
Gillian, what am I most excited about? Do you want to tell the listeners what I'm most excited about?
Oh, the bags.
Did you watch episode 1?
Yeah, episode 1. Episode 1. Yeah,
Yes.
It really, really was episode 1. When things got a bit crazy and bonkers, and Alicia made a reference to a bag of bonkers bag.
So yeah, watch this space.
Maybe we'll be selling bonkers bags. What is this, you ask? Watch episode 1 and you'll know. It's fine.
Yes. We also have to thank Plymouth Armed Forces Awards for your ongoing continued support. You're incredible. We love you. And although all the nominations have finished, the next big thing we have to look forward to for them is the actual event.
The actual awards. Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. I can't wait.
Yeah, really excited.
We need to talk about what we're going to wear.
Oh, can we not just wear our Wild Ones hoodies?
We could. Actually, we could go to Red Rock and get some ball gowns with our logo on. Anyway.
Oh yeah, actually, good shout. If there's anyone that wants to send us a dress to wear, send it on over.
Oh, get in touch, yeah.
Mainly because I absolutely despise shopping.
Yeah, it's grim.
Yeah, it is grim.
Are we waffling?
No, it's all right. The other people that we have to thank, apart from Locked On Media, we do still love you, are our patrons. We've got some new patrons as well.
Oh, patrons all over the place. Please go to patreon.com if you haven't already. We're not on the beg, but we kind of are a little bit, because there are so many influencers out there that have thousands and thousands of patrons. We have a handful, and it is growing at all, every day. As little as $1 a month.
and
as much as $1 million a month.
$1 million.
It's entirely up to you. So yeah, we are grateful for the ones we have.
Yes.
It's really, really helpful to just get a little bit of extra money every month to support the podcast and everything that we're doing. What was that noise?
I have no idea.
Blop, blop, blop.
On that note, we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
What was that?
Blop, blop, blop.